Boeing has once again got into some problems. According to FAA Administrator Mike Whitaker, production of the 737 MAX hasn't resumed yet, even though the 7-week strike at Boeing ended back in November. Whitaker, who recently toured Boeing's Renton production facility, shared some eye-opening insights during an interview with Reuters on December 4th. He said, "The thing that I was most struck by was we're 4 weeks post-strike and they're still not producing airplanes because they're focused on their workforce, the training, making sure they have the supply chain sorted out." Now, this might sound surprising, but when you dig into the details, it makes sense. The FAA had already capped Boeing's 737 MAX production at 38 jets per month. It all ties back to a serious incident in January 2024 when a door plug detached mid-flight on an Alaska Airlines 737. This near catastrophe exposed some glaring quality control issues. Following this, the FAA launched a 6-week audit in March, uncovering multiple instances where Boeing failed to meet manufacturing standards. As a result, the FAA decided to halt any expansion of 737 MAX production. So, even after the strike ended, Boeing has had to focus on fixing its workforce training and supply chain issues before ramping up production again. The good news? Whitaker mentioned that he expects production to finally resume later this month. But for now, Boeing's challenges remain under the spotlight. Now, on to another major development regarding Boeing's legal troubles. A federal judge has just rejected a plea deal that would have allowed Boeing to avoid criminal prosecution over the 2 tragic 737 MAX crashes in 2018 and 2019. Here's the backstory. After the crashes of Lion Air Flight 610 in October 2018 and Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 in March 2019, both linked to a flawed flight control system, Boeing reached an agreement with the U.S. Justice Department in 2021. This deal allowed the company to defer prosecution in exchange for paying a fine, implementing safety reforms, and installing an independent corporate monitor. But things took a turn earlier this year when the Justice Department accused Boeing of violating that agreement. In response, Boeing agreed to plead guilty to criminal conspiracy, pay additional fines, and spend at least $455 million on improving compliance and safety programs. Sounds like a done deal, right? Not quite. U.S. District Judge Reed O'Connor rejected the plea deal, calling it against the public interest. He specifically took issue with provisions around the selection of the independent monitor. For example, the deal included language requiring the government to consider diversity and inclusion when hiring the monitor. O'Connor argued that this could lead to discriminatory practices and weaken public confidence in Boeing's probation. He also criticized the deal for minimizing the court's role in overseeing Boeing's compliance, stating, "It is fair to say the government's attempt to ensure compliance has failed." This is a big win for the families of crash victims who've been fighting for harsher penalties for years. What do you think about Boeing's current struggles? Should the FAA continue to impose strict oversight, or do you think it's time to give the company some breathing room? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.